Somebody asked me recently, what do your friends teach you? I stopped because I had to really think about it. Not what they mean to me, not how long I've known them, not the history, not the laughs, the memories, but what have they actually taught me? And I'm talking about the things that I've absorbed, adopted, or rejected from the people I call closest to me. This question just sat with me for a while. The more I sat with it, the more I realized your friendships have been the classroom you've been in for your entire life, whether you've signed up for the course or not. Yo, what up, crew? This is Jamey. Welcome to Man Listen. Today we're talking about each one, teach one. Most people think when they hear each one, teach one, they think mentorship, they think classrooms, they think career development. But let me give you a little history here. The phrase was born during slavery in America. Enslaved people who learned to read were obligated, morally obligated, to teach someone else something because knowledge was survival. Knowledge was resistance. Knowledge was the one thing they couldn't change. It quickly became the cornerstone of Black community philosophy. What you know, you pass on. Nobody eats alone. Nobody rises alone. You bring somebody with you. Hip hop picked it up. The streets understood. Now I want to apply it somewhere we don't always think to look. Our friendships. So here's the truth. The people closest to you have been teaching you your entire life. Habits, mindset, how you carry yourself, how you handle money, how you love, how you cope, how to handle, how not to settle or how to settle, and how we rise. If we know it or not, we've absorbed it all. Some of it by choice, a lot of it just happened. And at 50 plus, we finally have enough distance to look back and actually grade all these courses we've been taking. Now, the question, because I've got to keep asking those questions, not did your friends teach you something because they absolutely did. The question is, what? And are you paying attention? So let me share with you a little bit about one of my favorite people. It all started as a professional capacity. It started as a working relationships, somebody I was serving in my area of expertise. And over time, organically, without either of us forcing it, it evolved into something special, something real. We started grabbing breakfast after early morning training sessions and a planned lunch to catch up on the week. We celebrate small wins for each other, small things that compounded into something special, something meaningful. This man is a few years older than me, and I want to say something clear. Being older doesn't automatically make you wiser. We've all met old fools, but this man, he's earned his wisdom. And what I appreciate most about him is two things that don't usually live together: candor and sensitivity. He will tell you the truth, and he will awfully do it in a soft and kind way that doesn't tear you down. What makes him a gem in my eyes, he might not even know what he teaches me, what he teaches me most in silence. By watching how he moves, by watching how he handles adversity, by observing his persistence against odds that would have destroyed lesser men, by witnessing his faith, his patience. He's not preaching at me. He's just living, and I'm taking notes. This is not performative. This is the most powerful classroom or lesson we can take. Person who models their values before you. So here's the lesson. Some people teach you everything without saying a word. Your job is to be present enough to receive it. Pay attention to what those people do. If you have someone like that in your life, a gem, make sure you honor it. They might not even know what they mean to you. The broader truth of this friendship unlocking for me, observation as a skill, Silence is a teacher. We are always learning from what we see. The question is whether we're watching close enough to learn something. Okay, write this down. Before you speak, think. Before you react, observe. Before you assume you understand the actions of a room, read it. The wisest people I know practice this naturally. They don't call it mindfulness, they call it paying attention. Let's approach this from a different angle, something a little different, because each one doesn't only apply to the positive influences within our lives. Some of the most important lessons your friends ever gave you, they didn't mean to give you. During my lifetime, I've had people in my circle whose relationships with drugs and alcohol was something I couldn't ignore. And I want to be very careful here. I'm not judging anybody's personal choices, but I can tell you from my own life, personally and professionally, this is not the thing to do. As someone who has spent years in the fitness and wellness space, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that excessive use damages the body. Over time, excessive abuse to your body damages the system's ability to recover. In the aging process, oh, it's not kind. The body keeps score. We talked about that. Episode 7. Man, listen. What I observed was something else. A man who was old enough to know better. A grown, accomplished man, not showing his best side, trying to impress, trying to be the energy in the room. And what I saw was the opposite of impressive. Here's a bit of adult truth and clarity. I don't need to impress others to be impressive. Be your authentic self. A grounded, present, intentional self goes way further than that performative crap some people do. And by my observation, it's just tacky. A man trying to be the life of the party unnaturally, a 50s plus audience. Come on, son. Nobody's really impressed by that. But what you need to understand is people are watching, or worse, they're judging, and they're not impressed. Here's the lesson. Your best self doesn't show up under the influence of drugs and or alcohol, peer pressure, or the desperation needed to be validated. Authenticity isn't a buzzword. It's a competitive advantage. And at 50 plus, you should know who you are and what you stand for and not desperate for the attention or validation of others. Let's reframe all of this. Look at your friendships, the ones that made you uncomfortable, not your enemies, the friends, the ones who were something you witnessed and made you look at yourself in the mirror a little harder. What did you see? What did you decide? That discomfort, it was a classroom. That lesson was yours to take or leave. Here's the truth. You can love somebody, genuinely love them, wish them the best, be grateful for the history, and still use what you witness as the compass pointing you in a different direction. That's not betrayal, that is growth. The third thing I want to share comes from a friend who taught me something that changed the way I exist, the way I move through the world. You see, this person, not loud, not the first to speak, not the one filling all the silent moments with noise, but watch them in a room. Really watch them. And you'll notice something. They're reading everything, taking it all in. It's called processing. Here's a diamond found in the rough. When they speak, it lands because it's earned, because it was considered, because it wasn't just the first thing that came to their mind. It was the right thing. The irony is we live in a world excited by noise, loud opinions, constant takes, always having something to say, something to post, something to react, just to give. But the most powerful people I've ever been around operate differently. They understand that silence is not absence. It is presence. It is observation. It is a superpower. Somebody is always watching, and I do mean always. Your words, reaction, how you handle good and bad news, how you treat people when nothing is at stake. Somebody in your circle is taking notes all the time, just like you've been taking notes on them. The lesson? Your presence speaks before your mouth does. Be intentional about what you're communicating in silence. What people absorb from simply being around you is often more important than anything you could ever say. This friendship taught me to slow down, to be mindful, to resist the urge to fill every moment with words, to trust that observation is a form of wisdom, and to understand that the quietest person in the room might just be the most dangerous person in the room. Not in a threatening way, but in a way that means they already know what's happening before you finish your sentence. And with all that said, pay attention. Be mindful, and before you speak, make sure whatever you're about to say is actually worth the silence that you're breaking. We've spent most of this episode looking outward at what our friends have taught us, intentionally, unintentionally. Now let's turn the chair around and put that mirror in your face. Let's make sure we understand each one, teach one only works if you're also one of the teachers. So let me ask you directly. What is your circle learning from watching you live your life? Not from what you tell them, not from your advice, from watching you, from being in proximity to you, from seeing how you handle the hard stuff, how you deal with the good stuff, from observing how you age, how you carry yourself, how you keep showing up. At 50 plus, especially for Black men, your life is a statement, whether you mean it or not, because there are not enough visible examples of what it looks like to be 50 plus, thriving, growing, healthy, intentional, and still climbing up that mountain. The world would rather show you in a different story, and that's not what Jamey's here for. So when you persist, you're teaching. When you stay disciplined, you're teaching. When you invest in yourself, own your space, refuse to apologize for your ambition, you're teaching. Often we have this assumption that we're teaching the next generation, but also our peers, friends, our families, those in proximity to you, they're paying attention. So, to the men standing next to you, to the women standing next to you, they need to see you in this shining light of positivity if it exists. That ceiling you thought was 50, it's not. That's the chapter we're in right now, looking forward to our best yet. All right, team, here's the challenge. Be intentional about what you're putting into your circle. Show up as the friend that you need. Teach what you had to learn the hard way. Be somebody else's gym, even if they never tell you, but they see you. Man, listen, I want to be honest with you about where I am right now. I spent years building expertise, the business, the credibility, the reps in the gym, and in a boardroom. I know who I am. I know what I can do. Now the mission is shifting. It's no longer about building the fitness business. It's about something bigger. It's about sharing what I know, growing alongside people who are on that same path, and being a good citizen of this earth, pouring into others the way the right people have poured into me. Did you get it? Because I hope you're getting it. And that's what this show is about. That's what this episode is about. Each one, teach one. That's what it means at 50 plus. Your life is a curriculum. The question is whether you're teaching something worth learning. Somebody asked me what my friends teach me, and I've been sitting with that, thinking about that question ever since. There's the Jim who teaches me persistence, faith, patience, not with words, but in how he lives. He may not know what it means to me, but I know. The friend who showed me by negative examples that I don't need to impress anyone to be impressive. That authenticity is not a weakness. It is a whole game by itself. Guess what? I'm winning. And well, the quiet one who taught me that silence is its own kind of power, that observation is wisdom, that you don't always need to be the loudest voice to be the most important one. Your circle is your curriculum. You didn't always choose every course, but you can choose what to do with what you've learned. And here's where I am today. I've established who I am and what I do. Now it's a little bigger than that. It's all about sharing the gifts, growing, being a good citizen of the earth. Each one, teach one. And just like that, another cool episode. Man, listen, I am so honored. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the love. I appreciate those of you that have something negative to say because we actually learn the most from that. But if you think that's going to stop me, it's not. So on our next episode, it is entitled WTF. Because it's time to take the gloves off. It's time to go there. It's time to talk about the things that frustrate us. It's time to talk about the things that just don't make sense based on where we are right here, right now. But otherwise, saddle up, kids. We're going for it. It's Jamey, and I'm out.